Today we are in the southern portion of the Adirondacks in upstate New York, and it's finally cold. Okay, it's December, like the first week of December. I can't remember the day. This is my Chinese diesel heater. Bought it on Amazon for $182. We recently went on a trip that wouldn't have been possible without this. It was over a foot of snow. It was just windy as all get out. We were up on the top of a mountain. The tent, it would have turned into a situation where we were just like snuggling, like fighting for warmth the whole time. We wound up going for 4 days on 4 gallons of diesel fuel. The Jackery lasts all night as long as you don't go overboard charging your cell phones or iPads or anything like that. It uses about 10 to 14 watts depending on the range you have it on.
Start up, it's higher.
What?
Starting up at the uses more watts.
It kind of revs real high in the wattage range, and then it slowly trickles down to a point where it's basically using nothing. It uses less than my LED light strips inside the tent. That's the basic unit. It came on Amazon. The exhaust pipe, the intake pipe, this filter. Very strange. There isn't really much to assemble. These wires will not be connected to anything. And they could run to a battery, that's putting out at least 12 volts. But if you go to your local auto parts store, you can get an adapter like this. The only issue I had using this is it blew the fuse almost immediately. So taking that screw out, pulling this apart, bringing that fuse back to the auto parts store, you can get higher amperage fuses. So if you do wind up getting into a situation where it doesn't work, we put a 20 amp fuse in there and it never blew again, and it came with a 5. So we're running it today on a Jackery 240. We're all charged up, 79%, not bad. It's literally as simple as throwing some fuel in this guy, some diesel. They say you can run kerosene in there too. I haven't tried it because I'm still in the testing period, really. But first off, don't use this. Bad. Okay, lots of spilled fuel. Got a nice viewport on the side. That's stupid. Unless you have those pieces that you just threw all over the ground because you were angry. Okay, so once you're filled up with fuel, that pipe, the exhaust pipe underneath, if you leave it on your tailgate or something, it's going to be touching. You're going to burn. Take a look at this burn I already got in my nice brand new truck here. Not pleasant. So we're going to go around the ground. Another thing I've learned, that air filter on the back is really constricting. I don't know how I feel about it. We're going to take it off of there because we're not in an environment where anything can get in there. We jump on the Jackery. I'm getting close here. This little screen doesn't light up the best. It's kind of simple. This is a climate control thermostat. You can have this mounted in your RV. You can extend the wires and, have like an actual thermostat. So you're going to hit on, and then it starts making noise and blowing some heat out. So now it's running up to, it finished the starting procedure. So this air coming out of here, if I could compare it to anything, because I don't have a thermostat, it feels like a dryer vent. Okay, it feels like I don't want to put my hand much closer than that at all. It feels like your typical hair dryer. Okay, you can turn this fuel pump up, which will increase how many hertz that it's running that fuel pump at, and it just kicks higher and higher. And after it's running clean, you see you have virtually no exhaust. It's not very loud. You can hear it kind of ramping up a little right now, and it's blowing significantly harder all of a sudden. But to run this up into our tent, it comes with this line, okay? I learned something the hard way. It took me over an hour to get this thing running during that blizzard. You see the inside of that tube? How smooth that is? Apparently for this sort of stuff, it's very important. The unit can overheat if you're like strangling it for air on the exhaust, on the air intake, on the inlet, on the back side, directly on the back there, or if you're clogging up where it's trying to push the air out. It'll turn off. It'll give you a little error code. You'll wind up Googling the error code. It'll tell you to put a less restrictive duct on, or to restart the unit, or to prime the fuel pump. There's a whole list of, there's about 10 different error codes. The first time I tried this, I just used this. Okay, and it was probably looking like that. Kind of just, I didn't do it a very impressive way. I used 25 feet, I didn't want to cut it. It was whatever. But if you look in there, it creates a real turbulent path for the air to follow. So you can still use this. It's not the most efficient thing. It gets very, very hot. Not hot enough to burn anything. Just hot like you don't really want to touch it. Using this as like a spacer to get, a little more velocity out of the air, further away from the unit a little quicker, seems to have been the answer for everything. But just sticking that on there and making sure that when you run this up to your tent, you're stretched nice and tight, you will be sitting there enjoying nice, warm, toasty heat for a solid, I don't know, probably 18 hours before you have to like refill it. And then you fill it up with diesel and it just goes.
It makes the old ladies happy.
Yeah, it makes the old ladies happy. That's for sure. Yeah, so that's it.
You sleep in a shirt and boxers.
This is putting out the kind of heat that I'm just saying, like blizzard, foot of snow already came down. It's still coming down. We're sitting in the tent in gym shorts and t-shirts, like comfortably. I wish I could show how much air is coming out of this. Give me 1 second. So I'm trying to depict like the force of air coming out of it, and like I said, it's very similar to like a dryer vent. But this is a pretty heavy rag, and it is pushing it out of the way. It's a good amount. As far as heat goes, it puts out plenty. I mean, it makes stuff melt. It's like watching snow melt. So after it's up to, the operating temperature, it comes down in wattage a whole bunch. Don't be alarmed, because at first when you turn it on, you're like, oh, that's definitely not going to last all night, right? We'll get rid of this hose and take a look down here. We are running right at my average 2.8 hertz. Okay, and over here on the Jackery, you can see it's using 15, 13. That'll get down to 10 watts sometimes. And that literally is the same as my LED strip up in the top uses 7 watts. My USB fan uses another 6 watts. If I'm charging a vape or a cell phone, now we're talking 20 something watts or 30 watts. Now if you have a girlfriend with you, a wife, okay, just keep cranking that right up there. That's rude. But I think this would be a great addition to anybody that's been camping and realizing that it's getting cold. This is a great answer for you under $200. Once you get the thing running, and if you don't have any issues like a pinched off fuel line or one of these small, very easy to manage pipes clogged somehow, you should be really happy for multiple days at a time.
You should mention how people use it in vans. And RVs and stuff.
What this thing actually is, it's a kit. You can buy a kit of it's a Webasto Chinese diesel heater clone. That's what this unit in there is. It's really like a diesel heater clone with a thermostat, a fuel pump, a tank, and all the wiring put inside of a case. You can buy all of this outside of the case as a bunch of parts. I wanted to get it assembled, see if we could use the form factor, and if it doesn't work out for us, we're going to wind up mounting it in a toolbox or something a little more robust so I can mount on the exterior of the vehicle. So that's the Chinese diesel heater. Get out there, have fun, stay warm. See ya.